Hello and welcome to another midday recipe with me, Chef Day, here in my kitchen. And sad news, we are coming to the end of our hummus week. It's been such a lovely week. So since Tuesday, we have been making recipes with hummus or hummus recipes or something to do with hummus, because on Wednesday it was International Hummus Day, but we decided that we love hummus so much that we would extend it into 6 days. So it's been wonderful, really wonderful. So today I'm going to make you guys a lovely hummus soup with hummus croutons. So we have our guys on Facebook over there, we have you guys on Instagram here, and I'm just going to make sure that I can see everyone's comments on our Facebook page. So Instagram people, if you haven't checked out our page on Facebook yet, please do. It's the Vegan Chef School. We've got loads of live recipes there with the written recipe too. So there's a massive back catalogue. I think we've been doing this for 6 weeks, so every day for 6 weeks. So however many days that is, okay, I'm not good at math. Yes, so there is that many recipes because we've been doing them every single day at midday. So we have quite a good back catalogue. If you guys want to get stuck into those, then please do. I'm just going to get our live up here on Facebook so that I can see the comments from our lovely Facebook community. You guys, please do ask questions. Do ask about substitutions, or, you know, if I scoot over something really quickly, which sometimes I do. I do speak quite quickly, especially when I get excited, and I usually get really excited about vegan food. So if I say something far too quickly, then please do let me know. Okay, so let's turn the sound off. That would be good. See the comments from our lovely Facebook. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so Sarah, good morning. And she said that she can't fully see what's at the end of the rainbow. It's a bit more of a tricky one today. Harry, good afternoon from Scotland. Good afternoon, Harry. And whereabouts in Scotland? Please do let me know. Good morning, Colleen. And Inna says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so for our Instagram people, they'll be like, what's this rainbow nonsense? Like, why are you talking about rainbows? We're here to learn about vegan food. Well, every day on our shows, we have a rainbow somewhere in our kitchen, and lately I've been putting some at the end of the rainbow, and everyone has to guess what is at the end of the rainbow. So our rainbow is over here. There we go. That is at the end of our rainbow. So I'm sorry that you guys don't get to see it that much. But anyway, let's see who can guess what is at the end of our rainbow today. So Denise, greetings and good morning from lovely Savannah, Georgia. Thank you for joining us again from that beautiful place, Denise. How am I, Chef Day? That's really sweet that you asked that. I'm really good. Really good, thank you. The sun is shining. So, yeah, all is good. Just been out in the garden with the cats. Very nice. Harry says, Preston Pans, East Lothian near Edinburgh. Okay, I think you probably mentioned that before, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. Okay, so Facebook people, please do keep on trying to guess what is at the end of the rainbow. It is a little bit more tricky today, I will admit, but it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Okay, so on to our recipe today. We are making a really simple hummus soup. It's a 1-pot dish, 1-pan dish for the soup. But then I'm also going to show you how to make these croutons. So these are also what I would call hummus pops. So these are such a lovely snack, a really lovely, addictive snack that you can just like sit there while you're watching a film and you will demolish all of them. Really lovely. So great to go on not a soup as croutons, but also great just for like a healthy snack to have. Right, okay. So Colleen is trying to guess what is at the end of our rainbow, but she said that she can't read the words, they're too small. Okay, right, I'm gonna have to bring it over so that you guys can actually see what it is. Sorry, Gino. Okay. Right, this. So everyone who's on Instagram will be seeing it in reverse, mirror image, but hopefully everyone on Facebook can see that. Can you see that? There we go. put that back down, it's a bit heavy. Okay. So, did anybody see what it was? Did anybody see what it was? So, Colleen, yeah, it's you. You're at the end of our rainbow today. No, sorry, it wasn't the best picture. It wasn't the best picture. And you've got purple hair. Not necessarily a bad thing. But yes, it's Colleen, our professional rainbow spotter, who is at the end of our rainbow today. So, Colleen has been she pips everyone to the post pretty much every day. So I thought that we needed to celebrate that. So on to making some vegan food with you lovely people. Okay, so really, really easy soup, a 1-pan soup. You don't have to do any frying with this, which means it's going to be great for Sarah, who isn't having refined oil at the moment. You can literally just whack all of this into your saucepan. Let it bubble away, let it soften, and then that's it. It's pretty much done. Okay, so let's get on to that. We've got our pan here. And it's a nice, wide, big enough pan to fit everything in. So that's the only thing that you really need. So first of all, we've got 1 can of chickpeas, which is here. I'm glad that everyone on Facebook is enjoying the fact that Colleen is at the end of our rainbow today. So we've got 1 can of chickpeas here. That is around 240 grams. So just in case you've got a jar, because sometimes the jars can be a lot bigger, then it's 240 grams, just in case you need to know that. If you can find chickpeas in jars that aren't ridiculously expensive, then I urge you to do that because they are a lot softer. They've been treated in a slightly different way. So they're a lot more plump. They tend to be bigger. They tend to be fluffier, which also means that the hummus that comes from them, the dishes that come from them, they have that fluffiness to them, which is really, really lovely. So we're just going to pop this into our pan here. And do remember to always save the aquafaba. If you don't want to use the aquafaba straight away, then pop it into a Tupperware or even an ice cube tray and into the freezer, and then you can use it at a later date. Sarah said thank you, inspired me to cook along as have all of the ingredients as well. That's great, that's great. I'm sorry, in the future we will try to release the ingredients a bit earlier, just so that you're not like frantically running around your kitchen trying to find all these things. Okay, so we've got our chickpeas in there, and now we've got 1 onion. Let's move these aside so you guys can see properly. There we go. Okay, so with a 1-pot dish like this, having something like onion, garlic, stock is really important because, you know, when you fry, a lot of flavour is released. A lot of flavour is released of the onions and the garlic and that type of thing, and also, you know, celery. And we're not going to be doing that. So we do need to impart quite a lot of flavour on it. So with our onions, we are going to slice them, but slice them as finely as we can because we want them to cook enough so that we don't have that raw onion taste, basically. So I'm just being really, really careful with how I'm slicing them, trying to do it as thinly as possible. There's no rush here, by the way, guys. There we go. And then we can just pop these into the pan. Sarah said, also, any good advice of what to do with lots of chard? Oh, love chard. Really, really love chard. The smell of chard cooking. So I used to saute it or braise it. So a little bit of oil, finely chopped up. Adds the chard to the oil, add a splash of water and then lid on, and it kind of, braises it basically, which is really, really lovely. To be honest, like chard is one of those things that it tastes so nice that you don't have to do much to it really, and it's better to let the flavour of the chard be the most dominant thing. So you can just really simply saute it with some olive oil, some really nice olive oil. Sprinkle it with like toasted pine nuts or toasted seeds or, you know, something like that, and that would be lovely. I've also added things like preserved lemon to it as well. That goes really, really well with it. But the smell of chard when it's cooking, it smells like, you know, that first day that you knew that it was summer when you were at school because they went and cut the grass. and you know, they cut all of the grass around your school, and then all you could smell was that cut grass. That's what charred smells like. It's absolutely lovely, really, really lovely. Okay, so into our pot here, we would put a couple of carrots, but we don't necessarily have to do that. So there is going to be a lot more flavour going into it anyway, so these are optional. I'm going to leave these out because this will slow the cook time down a bit, and for the purposes of doing a live recipe, I want it to be a bit quicker, and it also means that the colour will be slightly different. It will be slightly different because this will make it a little bit darker, and this one I want it to be a little bit whiter, a little bit brighter. So, there we go. So you guys are helping each other out. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Doug is saying charred, it's awesome. Also great for people needing to increase sodium. Thank you for that. Nikki says she's sneezing just thinking about those days when they started cutting the grass at school. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, I used to be a hay fever sufferer until I went to see a homeopath. And then I wasn't. So, but I do absolutely feel your pain. And now we're going to add some celery to the mix. Again, this is just going to add lots of flavour, and we just need to roughly chop this. You don't have to be too precious about it at all. So celery, onion, garlic, all of these things are going to impart lots of different flavours and lots of layers of flavour as well into our dish, and that's what we need when we're doing a one pot dish and where we want all of the flavour to be in there. Okay, and now we've got a couple of garlic. You guys can add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 garlic as you so wish, because I know some of you absolutely adore garlic. We've got some really, really big garlic here because I'm super lazy when it comes to peeling them. There you go, just roughly sliced and into the pot there. And now what's our next ingredient? So we've got our stock powder. So this is the stock powder that I use. Sorry to guys here on Instagram because this will be a mirror image. It is marigold bouillon. It's marigold bouillon. And the reason why I like it so much is because it's this really loose powder, which means that when we add it to any soup or stock or anything like that, it will dissipate. It will really go into the thing that we're making. Whereas there are some stock cubes, like the Knorr stock cubes, that you put in and then you have to like really mush it to the side, and I don't like that. Or there are the stock cubes where you use half of it and then you have to like squidge the rest of the half that is in that little foil wrapper back up again, and then you pop it into your cupboard and then bits of it come out, and I really don't like that at all. So this is the one that I use. Denise said I roast my garlic. You roast my garlic in the garlic so it caramelizes. I think you mean in the oven. I roast my garlic in, yeah, there we go. She roasts her garlic in the oven. That is a really, really lovely idea. Really, really lovely idea. Okay, so we are going to pop 1 teaspoon, sorry, that's a tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of stock into here. And then we have 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. If your cumin is a bit stale, then add more. Because I know that some of you will have cumin at the back of your cupboard that has not seen the light of day since like 1997. So give it a smell. If it's a bit out of date, then with spices, it's probably not going to kill you. Okay, don't tell food safety that I told you that. It's probably not going to kill you. Okay, and then we've got our tahini. So actually the tahini and the lemon juice, we will wait until the end to add that. So these are our 2 things that we will wait until the end to add that. Sarah said, sorry, I missed, what did you do with the carrots? So I decided not to put them into this one because I want it to cook really, really quickly, because you guys are there waiting, and the carrots are going to be the one thing that like slows this process down. So they are an optional ingredient. But Sarah, because you are cooking along at home, then please do finely chop these and pop them into the pan. That's it. You can decide whether to peel them or not. Ours are organic, so I'm not going to bother. Colleen said, is Marigold the brand name or is Marigold in the stock powder? So Marigold is the brand name, Colleen. George said you might be able to find Vegeta in the US and use it as a powdered veggie stock. Oh, great tip there. Thank you, George, for that. Okay, so we're going to pop these two in at a later date and just whack a bit of salt in here as well. And that is all of the ingredients that we need for our soup. We just need to add some water. So just enough water until the veggies are just about covered. There we go. So until they're really just covered. And then we can decide whether we want it to be a really thick soup or a thin soup. Because, you know, you can always add more water. You can't really take it away. Okay, well, you could take it away, but it would be a real pain. So, so Corrado, thank you for joining us. Corrado is one of our graduates. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sarah said, can you show us the pot inside? So I'll try and do a closer up view for you guys. Okay. Right, there we go to you, all of our people on Instagram, and there we go to all of our people on Facebook. So as you can see, it's only just covered, really only just, that's it. Okay, and then I'm going to pop it on here with a lid on because that will speed up the whole process, and then we will pop our hob on. There we go, all the way up to 9, and then that can get going. Okay, Anne said, hello, sorry I'm so late. That's okay, don't worry about it. And Paul, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so now we can just pop this to one side and let that bubble away. So as soon as the pot gets to boiling, I'm going to reduce the heat and just let it simmer. Let all of those veggies get really, really soft. And then we'll come back to it once it gets to that point. The lemon juice that I will add later, I don't want to add it at this point because lemon juice can get bitter if you cook it. So we're going to add that right at the end because I want this to have like a fresh zinginess because it's not really soup weather. You know, soup we would normally associate with autumn and winter, and apparently it's nearly summer. Sort of. So we want it to be a bit more, you know, light. So we can have this soup more at room temperature. It doesn't have to be super hot for you to enjoy it. And then the lemon juice will give it a bit more lightness. So Khan said, watching from Bangladesh. I think you're our first person from Bangladesh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you suggest alternatives for hummus? Do you mean like, so we had Nikki making a butterbean hummus with beetroot. Do you mean that type of thing? Louise says, hello from, where have you gone? Hello from NYC. This recipe looks yummy. Well, I hope you make it. It is super, super easy as well. Okay, so we're going to pop this to one side, and then later on we will add our lemon juice and our tahini once it's all cooked and once it's blended. So let's just pop these over here. There we go. There we go. And we'll get on to our croutons, which are also, as I said at the top of the show, but you may have missed it, these are great as a snack as well. So yeah, they're really, really yummy. And also you can just put on whatever spices you want onto them at all. In this context, we're going to be using it as a crouton to go on top of the soup, which is a really lovely addition. And also this is hummus week, so making the most of this kind of like hummus theme, you know, hummus everywhere. So Khan said, yes, sounds delicious though. Okay, so Khan, all week we have been obsessing about hummus. All of our recipes have been to do with hummus. So because it was International Hummus Day on Wednesday. So we've made it International Hummus Week because we're vegans and we love hummus, of course. So do check out our other recipes if you want other hummus recipes. We started it on Tuesday with a perfect hummus recipe with dukkha, which was really, really divine. And we've had really good recipes all week based on hummus. Okay, right. Okay, so on to our croutons. Okay, so here we have 100 grams of chickpeas, really well drained and rinsed. And then the other ingredients that we put on is basically going along the same thing as hummus. So trying to keep to that recipe as much as possible. Okay, yep, so we have our chickpeas in here, and then we're just going to add some salt. So around half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. And a little bit of toasted sesame oil. So the reason why is I wanted to mimic that taste of the tahini, and this is a really good way of doing it. So we need around half to 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. You don't need lots on. You don't need lots on. And Sarah, you can just omit the oil. That's absolutely fine. Give that a good mix in. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. There we go. There we go. Corrado said, yesterday I made lentil hummus. Good. I'm really glad that you've been celebrating Hummus Week with us, Corrado. That's amazing. Oh, and we've got a few thumbs up and hellos from the people on Instagram. Thank you for joining us over there. Okay, so I'm going to give this a really, really good mix because I want to make sure that all of those chickpeas are really, really well covered in everything that we're putting in there. We want to impart loads and loads of flavour onto those chickpeas. So the best chickpeas to use for this is as big as possible. So if you find those really, really big ones, I think that you can get them from Spain. There's a particular type of chickpea that is really, really big. So they would be perfect for this. If your chickpeas are a little bit on the small side, you can try boiling them again to see if they get any bigger. Okay, now we need some zest. There we go. This is our great mandolin. By the way, if you guys want to buy a present for a vegan foodie in your life, then a mandolin is a really, really good gift. Okay, Erin, you are late, but you're here. Yes. Good to have you along. Sue, is your portable hob the Tefal induction one? One of my rings is bust and I thought I might invest. Yes, it is. It's called Tefal Everyday, which I like because it's got my name in it. I know that's really sad. I like seeing my name everywhere. When I see the word day in really bizarre circumstances, I'm like, they've taken my name. Anyway, Doug, Tuesday's recipe was awesome. I was eating it for 3 days. I made that much. I'm so happy that you made it, Doug. That's amazing. Khan, I tried making a hummus salad with grilled eggplant for our Ramadan. That sounds lovely, Khan. Really, really lovely. Okay, now we're going to put some lemon zest. These are massive lemons. This is what you get when you get organic stuff. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're massive, sometimes they're a bit wonky. That's all good. And so these are unwaxed, so we can use the zest from them. So you want the zest of about 1 lemon, but if you don't like things that sour, then you don't have to put all of it in. I really, really like the sour, bitter, anything like that is all good to me. So just pop that lemon zest into there. We don't need any lemon juice or anything like that. This is going to have loads of lemony flavour because the zest contains so much flavour. Okay. But the lemon flavour from the zest is different to the lemon flavour from the juice. So the lemon flavour from the zest is a bit more sour. And if you think of the way that the pith, the white tastes, you can kind of that makes sense that it's like that. Whereas the juice doesn't have such that bitterness. It's sour, but it's not necessarily bitter. So that's why we're just going to put the lemon juice into our soup. Okay, so these croutons are now ready to go into the oven, and you want your oven to be set at 150 degrees Celsius. That's 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Gas Mark II. So we can just pop these out on here and just make sure that they've got enough space. So don't cram them in, don't crowd them at all. There we go. We want them to have enough space because every now and again you want to just move them around and just check whether they're done. So these will take probably about 30 minutes to cook. It's on a low heat. We don't want to burn them. So you don't want to use a very high heat with the chickpeas at all because they will explode in your oven. So chickpeas and loads of other beans, if they're at a high heat, they will just go, which is fun until you realise that you're the one that has to clean up your oven. So, and then it's not fun. So they will pop if they're on much too high a temperature. So 150 degrees only, 300 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 2, and that's it. Okay, so these, for anyone who's cooking at home, can go into the oven now. And then they can be, you know, roasting, doing their own thing, whilst you're waiting for the pan to do its thing as well, and to cook your soup. Karen said, are you on YouTube? I have been wanting to ask the question for a long while. Finally plucked up the courage to ask. Oh, Karen, see, I thought that you were new to the group, but I think that maybe you're not. Maybe you just, you know, you've been watching, but you haven't been saying anything. So I think that that's probably the case. So thank you for speaking up. It's always really, really lovely to get to know the people that are watching, and for you guys to get to know each other as well. So we are on YouTube, but really what I use YouTube for is a place to store all of our live recipes, which then I embed into our website. So you can actually watch all of them through our website, which is theveganchefschool.com. So if you check out that place, theveganchefschool.com, you'll be able to see all of the lives that we've done alongside the written recipe, which I think, you know, that's the way that we can add the most value, and we can really help you guys to learn these recipes, is by having the live recipe where, you know, we can give all these tips and tricks and give you loads of information, but you also have the written recipe so that, you know, it distills all of that information into something that's more concise and that you can follow better once you kind of like, once you've watched the live, you've got the idea of the recipe, you know what things should look like, you know, you've got all those extra information, and then you can just follow the recipe and do it that way. Okay, so you will get to know when these are done by feeling how crunchy they are, either with your fingers or by eating them. These are really addictive. But what you will get is, you'll get these little bits too, which, when you sprinkle them onto your soup, will make your soup look a lot prettier, because really it's quite a boring looking soup, but this makes it next level. So let's have a look at this and see how we're getting along. Now I need to use a cloth to take this off, because somebody decided to design a pan where the lid and the handle get hot. Yeah, you can imagine what I think about that. Okay, so that is looking really fairly done to me. Now just bear in mind that this induction hob is a demon. It is an absolute demon. So let's turn the heat off, and I'll just go and grab my hand blender. Oh, Denise, I'm sorry, must have missed. How long do the chickpeas cook in the oven? So for around like 25, 30 minutes, something like that. Of course, it does depend on how big your chickpeas are, because some of them can be tiny, really, really small, and then some of them can be really quite big. So I would say anywhere from around, 20 minutes for the really, really small ones, through to maybe 40 minutes for the bigger ones. So, and also you've got to factor in if your oven is lying to you or not, because most ovens, they aren't actually the temperature that they say they are at. I have an oven thermometer, and if you like cooking as much as I do, then you should get an oven thermometer. It is really, really, really helpful, especially when you cook things like meringues, where the temperature has to be very precise. But that's a great thing to have in your oven, and then you can gauge, my oven is actually, it's hotter than it should be. So I know now to, so say for example, if this is going to be on 150 degrees Celsius, I would put it on 130 on the dial, and then that's going to be 150 degrees Celsius. So do check that out. Let me just grab my hand blender. Okay, so guys, now that we're at this point, you can decide to make this really smooth or not smooth. It's really, really completely up to you. You can have it chunky, so it's more like a stew, or, you know, more like a thick soup, or, you know, a bit thinner. It's really, really up to you. So let's just grab these lovely things. There we go. Okay, let's put this to one side. And so this water has nearly evaporated in here. So I'm going to add a bit more, just so that the blender has a bit more to work with and it's a bit easier, because, you know, if it is overly thick, then my blender might have a bit of a meltdown. Doug said, that's interesting. I never knew that about disingenuous cookers. Thank you for that phrase. I'm definitely going to be using that phrase from now on, disingenuous. There we go. Okay, so just use your hand blender. And you can see that I'm tilting it to one side. And the reason why is, well, actually, there's probably a couple of reasons. If I just blend it like this, then it gets quite splattery. And it's hot. I don't want any splats on me, particularly when it's hot. But also, by tilting it to one side, it means that the blender has more to work with. And that's always a good thing. Okay, so I am making this really, really smooth because that's how I want it to be. So Khan actually asks a really, really good question. He says, what is the theme next week? With Ramadan coming to an end and lockdown continues. So I've been thinking about this, and I was going to ask, and I know that Nick is on, if Nick is watching, what are we going to do next week? We need a theme. It's been really, really lovely. This is the first time we've ever had a theme, and it's been really, really lovely. So if you guys want to suggest a theme to us, that would be really, really nice. Don't make it anything really difficult, please. Please don't make it anything difficult. But maybe you guys can suggest a theme for next week. Oh, Paolo, thank you for watching. Thank you, Day. You're amazing. Oh, right. Okay, so just another quick blast. There we go. And then adding our two remaining ingredients that we didn't put in before, we have our tahini, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of tahini, but it's really, really up to you, because I know that not everyone really likes tahini. So just right at the end of our jar here. Doug says he can't find the Breville 500 watt anywhere. Oh no! Well, I would say you don't necessarily have to get the same brand as me. As long as it's over 500 watt hand blender, then that's all good. What I will do actually later on today is I will have a look online at some options, and I'll put some information about that into our community hub. And so you can see the type of blender, the type of hand blender that I would suggest that you would get if you can't get the exact same one that I have. No worries, no worries, no worries. Okay, so Harry has suggested that we do curry night. I like that idea. Sue says yes, definitely. So Adam, thank you for joining us. Another one of our students. Kelsang says seitan. Well, unfortunately, I can't do seitan. I'm gluten-free, and I haven't yet explored gluten-free seitan, but it is definitely an option for the future. Doug said that I'm awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and now our lemon juice. So with our lemon juice, around one tablespoon, of lemon juice, but really it's up to you. We're right at the end of our lemons here. There we go. And there we go. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice into there. And then give that a good mix. And now is the time to taste it. So taste it before you serve it. Please taste it. Oh, we've got someone from Instagram. I hope to take classes. I'm in California. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Wherever you are in the world now, you can take classes with us. We've just launched an online course for home cooks, and we also have our online course for people who want to be professional chefs coming up, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So now is the time to taste it and see if it needs anything else. If you can wait 24 hours to eat this, it gets better. It does. It really gets better. So this is some that I made yesterday, and it tastes even better today. And you'll see that there is a difference in colour, because this one has got the carrots in it, and this one doesn't at all. Both equally nice, but you know, a difference in colour. I can definitely see like the oranginess of this one, not this one. So, but this is the one that we're going to go with today. I think it could do with a bit more salt, and then that's it. Okay, so tempeh recipes. Tempeh recipes, yes, definitely. We can definitely do that. I'm not sure how everyone else feels about doing a whole week of it though. And said I have a Kenwood stick blender that is 700 watts, but I bought it years ago, so don't know if they're still available. Kelsang said, have we done tofu? No, we haven't. We haven't. So that might be a really, really good thing to do one week, actually, is tofu. I'd be up for that. I'd be definitely up for that. Okay, so here is our bowl. Obviously, I don't think I needed to tell you that, but look how pretty it is. I always think that these guys are like in a bath together. They're like, you know, in a little bubble bath. Yeah, how's your day been? Hi Ashley, hi Ingrid, thank you for joining us on Instagram. Somebody said I made your, Paulette, I think you came to one of our classes, didn't you? I made your banana skin bacon this morning, it was delicious. I'm really, really glad that you did and that you like it, that's great. Mick has joined us as well, welcome. Okay, so we're just dishing up our soup here, and this one, without the carrots, will take a bit less time. But you can put carrots in it if you want to. Either way, this is still like got loads of flavour in it. And then we can just pop some of our croutons on the top. And that's the thing, you know, you do want it to be thick enough so that those croutons will stay on the top and they won't sink. And then don't just put the croutons on it. No. Let's put this lovely stuff on it. So this is like the sprinkly, you know, it's all like the bits of it that have been roasted and have like a really nice flavour. And you'll have like some of the lemon zest in there with the cumin, and we'll sprinkle some of that on top. And then it looks really divine. Yum. Okay, so, you said that bowl is, it really is. It was from a charity shop, would you believe? Yeah, I absolutely love that bowl. And said, what about an Italian week? And get Picky Wops back for another demo. That's a really, really great idea. Okay, I'm going to come around so that I can show you guys a close-up of our lovely little bowl. And our hummus soup with our hummus croutons. There we go. Right, there we go, guys. So that is another hummus recipe for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week as much as I have. Tune in tomorrow for our final hummus week of this week. We will probably do another one at some point during the year. There's got to be another one. put in there somewhere. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. And please do make your suggestions for themes, make your suggestions for recipes that you want us to make for you. You know, it's really up to you. We are here to help you guys be more inspired about vegan food and be able to learn simple but effective recipes. That is what we're really going for, is simple but effective recipes with loads of tips added in. So even if you don't want to make the recipe that you're watching, you will get some value out of what we're saying. So you'll have some tips about food that you can bring into your life, and you can just make vegan cooking a lot easier for you, because when you know how, it is easy, and we want to show you how. So thank you guys. The theme can be chickpeas and tempeh. Okay, well I think we've done chickpeas for now, but we can definitely revisit chickpeas at a later date, and definitely tempeh. Tempeh seems to be a real winner on Facebook here, and lots of thank yous and hearts and all that lovely stuff. And thank you to everybody on Instagram who's joined us as well today. You guys have an absolutely lovely day.